Once again, this bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Officials at ringside shall remain the same. In association with the International Boxing Federation, President Robert W. Lee, supervisor at ringside, Ms. Marian Mohammed. The three judges assigned to this bout, scoring on a 10-point must system, are Mike Liana, Art Lurie, and Stuart Winston. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, working in a world title bout for the 68th time, referee Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Grand Garden here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with gold trim, weighing in at 167.5 pounds. He comes to us from Mansfield, Ohio, with a professional record of 36-5, 2 draws, 27 of his 36 victories by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger and former light heavyweight champion of the world, Prince Charles Williams. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with silver trim, weighing in at 168 pounds, from Ann Arbor, Michigan. His professional record, 43 victories. He has not been defeated. He has 2 draws, 28 KOs to his credit. Considered by many to be, pound for pound, the best in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2-time world champion and the current IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, James Lights Out TONEY.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Shake hands. Good luck.
Jim, I look upon this as a wait and see fight. We're going to wait and see whether Prince Williams can maintain at this weight and whether James Toney is in his best shape.
And part of the pressure for Toney tonight, as of this afternoon, if Toney wins, a deal is in place for him to fight on November 19, IBF middleweight champion Roy Jones Jr., the man that Toney has been stalking for more than a year now. He wants Jones. He gets him November 19 if he can beat Williams tonight. Prince Charles Williams promised to crowd James Toney, and George Foreman, he begins doing exactly that.
I think he's doing a fine job of it, but sometimes you just don't crowd a fighter that crafty with heavy shots. Just keep your hands on him, tap him.
Good right hand over the top by Williams. Referee Joe Cortez telling the fighters to work away from the rope. Williams would like to keep it right here.
Williams was able to land a good right hand to the body, which may make a great difference if the round fight continues to go.
Prince Charles Williams doing exactly what he wanted to do early. James Toney not putting up much of a response.
Hasn't been able to land a jab yet, so everything works behind Toney's left jab. If it doesn't start working, then he's got to take his time.
Toney clearly felt in our discussion with him that he'd be able to handle Williams easily when Williams was away from him. He fully expected Prince Charles to crowd him like this, so it seems as though both fighters are getting what they expected in the first round, but Williams likes it better.
Toney is able to periodically just tap him in the middle of the stomach. He'll stop that crowding real quick.
Williams missing the right hand over the top. James Toney has thrown only a few punches so far as he watches Prince Charles Williams work up close.
Come on, get this on top. Come on, work out of that. Work out of that. Come on, get this on top.
Solid right hand by Toney. Backs Williams up for the first time. Now James tries to go to work behind the jab.
Get him out of here. Come on.
Williams pushes it back and just doesn't give him any room to work. going to take a lot of stamina for Prince Charles to maintain this tactic, right,
That's
George?
true. It would have been beneficial for Prince Charles to have Tony on him like that for a couple of rounds so that he can come on later in the fight. Now he's shooting everything he's got, and this may prove to be not too good as the fight continues to go on. He's bigger.
Well, you're going to have to take a calculated gamble to beat a man like James Toney, and clearly for Prince Charles, the gamble is that he can sustain for several rounds in fighting like this. Good right hand over the top.
He's going on top of the head. This is what takes out of the good fighters. When the guy hitting on top of the head. You mix that with body punching, and you're just not going to have the energy to go with yourself.
Toney lands a left to the body and a left to the head. Once again, breaks out of jail momentarily.
It's important that Tony established that, hey, I can win this round to the judges now. Maybe starting a little too late.
Tactically, at least, round one belonged to Williams.
Don't need for that, you hear? I don't need that, you hear? All right, don't do it again. Give me that green.
A little give and take between James Toney and referee Joe Cortez. Famous defense attorney Robert Shapiro, involved in a heavily publicized case in Los Angeles, is here tonight, seated at ringside. A little bit earlier, we captured this shot of him visiting in the dressing room with James Toney and manager Jackie Callan. About a month ago, Jackie Callan arranged for Robert Shapiro to come to a gym in Los Angeles and spar. Believe it or not, spar with James Toney. She says it was the real stuff. He showed up without headgear, without a protective cup, without anything to wrap his hands, just wanted to put the gloves on and bang away at James, and he did it.
He tried to hurt James.
Is he crazy or what?
Oh, yes.
They wound up going 2+ rounds, and Shapiro, by his own admission, was exhausted at the end.
Watch them heads inside. Watch them heads inside.
Now round two begins.
Tony's going to have to be careful because he's going to find himself staggering Prince Charles a lot. Don't go for the finish. Just keep the staggering up.
What's he going to stagger him with, George?
Well, he's going to stagger. He just staggered him a few minutes ago with a good right hand. And that's going to be his side of the head, right side of the head, left side of the head.
If they keep standing like this, it'll take a solid uppercut to break the fight open. There's Toney with a left hook. Now he goes back to the body. In there's few moments when he finds open space, Toney shows you his remarkable proficiency for accurate punching.
This is going to be a hard job for Toney because he's going to hurt this guy periodically. Don't keep trying for the finish every time you hurt him. Wait until the fight draws on.
When your hands are free.
George, does Toney seem strong enough to you to stand up under this constant leaning in? And
no way. He should not have been allowed to just let this big guy lay on him throughout the fight. Of course, it's said that Tony's been working out with heavyweights in the gym, so he may be prepared for this pushing and shoving. It really takes it out of you. Your legs get tired, your knees get weak, not because of punching, but because the big guy's leaning on you.
so if, in fact, when he struggled to make weight yesterday, that was because he had gone a little bit short on the conditioning, it'll show up more quickly under this tactic, right?
No, I think that going at the last minute losing that weight may mean he'd have a little more strength than he ordinarily would.
All right, keep the punches up, guys. Both of you guys, keep the punches up. There's no room, Joe.
A problem you don't face in the heavyweight division, George, and it's a good thing because we've enjoyed your career.
Work out of that. Let him go, work out of that. Come on, let him go, work out.
Believe me, this fight is not going the way Tony would like it. He's landing good shots to the side of the body, which he should be to invest a little of the, taking a sap out of Prince Charles, but he should be in the middle of that ring a little bit.
Well, this is certainly the fight that Prince Charles Williams and his advisors would have drawn up on the drawing board.
Yeah, he's able to push Tony away, bang him and bump him. Couldn't ask for anything else.
They could have done it in a phone booth, Larry.
The fans are booing because this is like a stage play in which all the dialogue, which is a dialogue with fists, is taking place in one corner of the stage. But it's tough and grueling in there.
We can go back to that. Okay, you done did it before. Now let's go this time. All right, let's go this time.
Williams' trainer, his executive trainer, I suppose, is Marty Feldman, who trained Dave Taberry, the fighter who gave James Toney such a rough time by out hustling him in that controversial decision 3 years ago. And they're convinced that if Prince William can punch for 3 minutes of the round, that James Toney can be out hustled, and you can't steal the rounds from him because he doesn't like to fight for 3 minutes. That's their theory, and that's what you're watching here.
And so far, Prince Charles Williams has every reason for confidence and for feeling good about the way things are going. If you tuned in to see a classic boxing match, this ain't it. The two fighters have thrown a total of 12 jabs between them in the first 2 rounds.
Tony was told by his corner to make sure if you're not going to lay on that rope, get something into the body. If not, get out of there. But it's not that easy to get out of the ring with a big guy like that. He's got you on the corner with weight.
Why not just step to the left and run away to open space, George?
Well, he doesn't want to give him the confidence that, hey, you got me running. So a lot of that is, hey, I'm going to stay here until he finishes doing what he's doing. If I start to run, you can create a whole nother fight. Now Tony was able to land a good left jab for a change.
Yeah, but Prince Charles Williams landed one, too. When they're in open space, the jab is Prince Charles Williams' best weapon. He's confident he can jab with Tony.
If he was that confident, believe me, he wouldn't be pushing him across the rope.
I hear you.
Tony's got the quicker jab. And he can get his confidence up by landing a few of them.
Well, this is a heck of a way to neutralize that quick
He's
jab,
doing a good job of it. I mean, it may not be exciting to the general eye, but this is the way to fight Tony.
Good right uppercut inside by Tony.
Come on, put your work out of there. Come on, your hands are free, guys. Come on. Chris, keep up, please. Keep up, keep up.
You expected James to have the clear edge in punching power, right, George?
I expect so because Prince Charles has had to lose a lot of weight. And with that goes a lot of the steam. It's like starting off with a sledgehammer and ending up with a big one. Tony has got his power as a middleweight. The light heavyweight has lost his power as a light heavyweight.
Watch your head inside, Prince. Watch your head inside, Prince.
Round 3, very much like his 2 predecessors. Very little time spent in open space. Prince Charles Williams locking James Toney up in jail along the ropes and keeping him there. Now here comes Toney, flurrying back with counter punches inside.
But Prince should not allow Tony to get him on the rope, because then it's changed the whole complexion of this whole deal. He was quick to get off the rope.
Tony lashing at Williams as round 3 comes to a close.
In my view, gentlemen, Tony has taken the initiative in the last couple of rounds. He's fighting Williams' fight, and I think he's starting to beat him at it.
Stat numbers, as you saw, were just about equal. Both fighters landing extraordinarily high percentages of their punches. At this range, one might say, how could they miss?
I think Prince Williams' corner made a mistake telling him to keep it up, keep it up. At some point, you got to take a breather from that hard pushing power, throwing shots, shoulders, and all that. You got to pace a guy like that. You got to pace him.
Well, who works harder, the leaner or the leanee?
Believe me, it's worked on both ways, because as he's leaning, Tony is able to occasionally hit him in the side. This just doesn't help your legs nor your wind.
And even greater premium on body punching in a fight like this, George?
That's true. And so if his corner's got to allow him at some point to coast a little bit, recapture yourself, let Tony do some of the burning out.
Your hands are free. We got it. Come on.
Archie Moore, and a great fighter from Philadelphia, will always get into those kind of fights. He would whip Archie Moore, but finally that weight tire him out and Archie would come on.
You're talking about Harold Johnson?
Great fighter.
on, Prince. Come on. Work out of there. Come on, you can work out of there. Come on, you handle 3 guys.
Tough job for referee Joe Cortez tonight, trying to decide when to disentangle them and when to let them go. For the most part, he's been letting them go.
Yeah, this is a spectacular job from Cortez as referee. This is what you call refereeing, when you have to get in there and work for your money.
Watch your hands inside, guys.
Round 4, in style, much like its predecessors.
Now Prince Charles is able to, when he throws his punch,
Get him out, let's go. Work out of there. Come on.
he hadn't done that early on. Now he's starting to, so he's getting a little winded, and he's going to lose the rest of his wind right now. Don't make sounds. You got to be a silent.
Advantage Tony. So, and as James listens to that in there, he's gauging it and figuring Prince Charles for getting a little bit tighter, right?
A lot of times that sound comes before the punch, so it gives you time to cover. Really? It's the
Sonar defense, huh?
Yeah, it's the unexpected that hurts you in boxing.
Solid right hand by Tony. Found a momentary open space and plunged the right hand through it.
The rule is when you're hurt, take it easy, back off a little bit. Now he's breaking the rule. He gets hurt, Prince Charles, and he keeps pouring it on. You can't break the rules like that continuously.
Tony getting a chance to flurry at the end of round number 4.
Out on the ice.
This fight is so hard to score is 3/4 of the time I'm looking at the guy's back. I'm not seeing a darn thing but a fighter's back. If you're looking at his back or you're looking at the referee, you certainly can't see the punches. This is what's happening to me, and this is what's happening to the 3 guys scoring a fight. It's virtually impossible to see all the shots looking at his back.
It's a good insight, Harold, and that's why we have you here. I have it 2 rounds to 1 and 1 even for Tony.
For Tony.
I seen the
Did you
favor.
also give Tony the 2nd and 3rd rounds?
Yes, I did.
Yes, George.
That's the way I see it also. But then I don't see that well.
Now from our perspective here, you can't see either fighter doing anything. So it's a very, very difficult fight to score.
At some points, Prince Charles doesn't even care about his stance anymore. He just lays on Tony, drops his legs, put them together, and just lie on him.
The 2 fighters pounding away at each other in the corner just above us. If you wanted us to, we could reach out and touch him for you.
Get him on, get him on. Work out of there.
The phone booth simply moving from one corner to another as each round goes by. Now Tony inching backward along the ropes toward Prince Charles Williams' corner.
Now, when you start working close like that, you have a tendency to get your head acquainted with the guy's eye. And before you know it, one guy's puffed up more than the other, especially the guy using his head. He'll end up puffing you up, not with punches, but with headbutts.
Yeah, what about headbutts in here and the possibility of a cut, George?
Yeah, it's not so much the butt, it's just the laying of the head continuously on you. Your head is not a glove. The eyebrows of the other guy will cut your face. Charles is keeping his head real close to Tony. That's dangerous.
Must be awfully easy to get angry at a man when you're this close all the time. Chopping right hand inside by Prince Charles Williams. Tony seeming to focus on the body much of the time. When he steps away, he looks for the head. Right uppercut landed for James Toney.
Punch your work out of there. Punch your work out. Come on, punch your work out. Come on, let's go. Punch your work out. Your hands are free. Come on, guys. Work out of there. Come on, punch your work out.
Prince Charles Williams consistently executing the fight plan he told us he would use. Crowding James Toney from the opening bell, forcing him against the ropes, forcing him to fight in a tight space. Tony, at first seemingly frustrated by this, has since found a lot of open target.
Prince Charles is able to zero in on a swollen side of James Toney. I think it's the left side, and that just is not going to help Tony as the fight goes on.
And Prince Charles landed a chopping right hand that hurt James Toney momentarily there.
Believe me, the swelling on his side was not caused by the punches. It's been caused by the constant touching of the head.
A ripping left hook to the body by Tony as round 5 comes to a close.
Time I want you short jab, right hand over top. Push it in top. When he gets that rope, fall off the rope with that right hand. Okay, baby? You ready? You ready? We did this before. Now let's go again. Let's go again. Come on, baby. Come on.
Earlier, you may recall, I said the question about fighting at 168 pounds, his lowest weight as a professional for a very long time. The question is whether he can sustain it. He can fight at this pace at that weight, and so far that is what is going to determine this fight.
The tide has definitely changed. Tony got his back up against the rope. He's going to have to fight himself out of it. He's going to have to fight hard. Has not been able to establish a left jab, which means he is in the wrong fight tonight.
The left eye of James Toney, which is swelling, which is going to work on between rounds, is the same eye which was badly cut by the headbutt of Tim Littles back on March 5 in Los Angeles.
What you should know is when you lean forward, as Tony is doing now, and a guy straightens you up from that leaning position, it's like doing too many push-ups, sit-ups. It can really tire you out. And that's what Prince Charles is doing. He's bringing him from the leaning position back up to the standing position. That hurts.
Good accurate punching inside by Tony there. Prince Charles Williams has also been busy in this round. Through the first 5 rounds, Williams threw 23 more power punches than Tony. He's been able to stay busy, work at a high rate while leaning in inside. Tough fight to score, as Harold Letterman has already pointed out. Minute and a half away from the midway point. We remind you, James Toney needs to win this fight to make a reality of a November 19 date with IBF middleweight champion Roy Jones Jr. There's been a lot of talk between the two, apparent bad blood, a fight that everybody in boxing wants to see. But James has to win this fight first to make it happen. Between rounds, we'll be talking with Roy Jones.
Work out, guys. Work out. Your hands are free, guys. Work out there. Your hands are free, guys. Come on, work out there. Come on.
George, to my eyes at least, Williams hasn't slowed down much yet.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, he seems to capture the second win. And if he continues, now Tony is establishing a left jab, which is his best fight.
Overhand right by Tony, landed flush on Prince Charles Williams' jaw.
Get out, Prince. Don't be on Prince. Go home, Prince. Get out of there.
If it's going to happen for Tony, it's going to happen behind that left jab.
Another right hand by Tony. Crowd beginning to get more interested, as for a few moments at least, they fight in open space.
Your hands are free. Let him out, Prince.
At this distance, James Toney appears the more skilled fighter. That's no big surprise, but the left eye is swollen almost shut for James Toney as he goes back to his corner.
Just keep pushing the punch. Settle down, okay? Don't hit too many crazy shots, right? Settle down. You got hit too much around. Settle down, okay?
Here, finally getting some distance. Tony throws that right hand, lands it flush on the jaw. But except for that brief exchange between them, this has been like a football game in which both lines are banging away at each other, trying to sustain mastery.
Yep, this has been Michigan-Ohio State up to this point in cold weather. And meanwhile, we told you about Roy Jones and the date with James Toney, potentially November 19. Roy?
How you doing?
How you doing? Welcome to ringside. What prompts you to be willing to surrender your IBF middleweight championship for the chance to fight Toney at 168?
Well, it's not for sure that I am going to have to surrender my title, because I do have a fight that King has won the bid with Bernard Hopkins. But Tony says he wants to fight me real bad, and if that's so, I mean, I don't want you ever appear that I'm running from anybody. So, you know, I'd be willing to get my title up to take this one. This doesn't seem like it's going to be an easy title to take, but I know I can because I am the man.
He says he doesn't like you. He says he doesn't like all of the glory you've received as a past Olympic big star. You feel the same way about him?
He don't have any glory that I think that I should be jealous of, because right now, like I said, I am the man. If he's upset because I am the man and he's not, then he has to come beat the man to be the man.
What do you think about the fight you're watching right here?
It's a good sluggish fight because Prince Charles is pushing the issue so much. He got Coach Tony, made Tony tired early. Now, Tony is the better boxer with the hands, but the pressure is making it very difficult because Prince is staying so close to him. With him staying that close, Tony is unable to land any real power shots, and it's being a difficult fight for Tony. That was the overhand right that was pretty powerful, but then he stops. So it's no telling what can happen. Prince Charles' eyes messed up now too, so maybe Prince Charles is starting to slow a little bit.
There's an overhand right that again does some damage as James gets some space and once again begins to open up.
Right.
Final question, Roy.
Yeah.
You lose a chance at a big payday if Prince Charles Williams wins the fight. You got to be rooting for Tony to win.
Oh, yes, I definitely want Tony to win the fight because Tony wants to show down against the man, Roy Jones Jr., and I think it's prominent that he get it. You know, there's no sense in him having to go up and wait before he gets a chance to try the person that he admires most.
Another good right hand inside by Tony. Roy, thanks very much for your time. Look forward to seeing you down the road.
All right.
All right. Roy Jones Jr., IBF middleweight champion, potentially an opponent down the road for James Toney. And now let's get back to the action where George, the left eye of Prince Charles Williams, is suddenly in trouble.
That's right. Tony is taking control of it.
How is he taking control?
Well, he's starting to use his left jab and throw that right hand right over top. If he can continue to do that without this bumping and shoving football stuff, he could take control of this fight. He's landing important body shots, left hooks to the body. Tony is doing everything right, but he may have started it a little too late.
Is it because of James's body work inside that Williams has chosen to back up and leave room on a few occasions?
That's right. When you keep hitting a guy underneath that body, underneath those ribs, at some point you got to stop and protect yourself and cover up and stop that hurting. And it's opening up things good for James Toney.
James Toney trying to show us he can win one more way. He's done it here on HBO just about every way imaginable.
James Toney is measuring and taking real conservative with his power. He lands 2 good shots. He doesn't go for 4 or 5. Goes back to 2 good ones because if he burns himself out punching, he's in trouble.
Round 7 than it had been the case up to that point. James Toney has now managed to land 13 jabs in the fight. As round 8 begins, they go back inside and very quickly, right here in the early stages of round 8, we turn to Harold Letterman for his scorecard. Harold, how you got it?
Jim, 67-66, 4 rounds to 3. James Toney, he clearly won round 6 and 7 by stepping back the landing hard right hands that we saw. And I'll tell you, up until the 6th round, 3/4 of the punches we didn't see. All we saw was a guy's back. But I think that James is starting to step back, starting to get the distance and land a hard right and take control of the fight.
I think James Toney is a better fighter than even he thinks himself that he is.
Well, I think he proves that virtually every time out, George, because he faces so many different kinds of challenges and finds a way to win.
Amazed, truly amazed. Not to say he's won his fight, not by a long shot.
Another thing you've got to love about him, he's active because he's willing to fight tough opposition. James Toney doesn't run scared from anybody, Roy Jones Jr. included.
Get him out of there, guys. Come on, you hit the free. Let's go. Let him out. Come on. All right, break out, Lee. Come on,
a little bit of a breather round so far in round 8. For both Toney and Williams, not quite as active a round as was round 7. Right uppercut by Williams, backs Toney up into the corner.
Let's go, work out of there.
Another body flurry by Toney. Both fighters have shown guts and grit and commitment.
That's what Prince Charles don't want to be on the end of Tony's shots. He's got to keep that distance about a foot away and don't lose it.
Now the crowd begins to chant, Toney, Toney, Toney. Williams takes just a little bit longer to wind up and deliver the jab than is the case with James.
He's out there in the wrong territory now. His fight is staying there even if you don't have the punching, just stay close.
Prince, let him go, Prince.
I would tell Prince Charles.
Come on, Prince, let him out of there. Come on, work out of there. Work out. Work out of there.
should manage to stay on the side of the rope and allow Williams to circle him and just keep throwing punches as he's going backwards, rather than just laying on the rope. Now he's decided to do it. Let's go backwards. It's like a moving punching bag into you.
And after the bell, right hand by Tony. And Joe Cortez elects to take the point away. So any and all good work that Tony had done in that round is squandered by that punch after the bell.
But I think he didn't cause it. It was Prince Charles who initiated that. As soon as the bell rang, boom, he got Tony.
Yeah, but Tony retaliated, George.
Yeah, I mean, so these young fighters, hey, they're not going to give you an edge like that. You've got to pay them back.
Let's take another listen to the end of round 8.
See? Prince Charles initiated it, so I think that the referee may have missed it, been on the wrong side. He would have taken a point from each or not take a point at all.
I agree, George. I think he jumped the gun a little bit.
Nevertheless, it costs Tony a point and makes it still anybody's fight, or so it would appear to us, going into the 9th.
Come on, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Work out of there. Let him work out of there.
Tony is doing something very interesting. He moves forward along the rope on the left side of his opponent, making him push with that left hand so there's the deaden that left jab.
That's pretty subtle stuff, George.
That's what you do. You stay on that left side and make him deaden that hand so it moves a lot of the reflexes out of it. Keep moving to the left.
Go to the head in here, George, or just keep sticking to the body?
Well, Tony is doing real good. He's staying down to the body, landing good important shots. Then he comes back up to finish it all up. Prince Williams is doing his fight. He's staying close. He keeps Tony away from turning that right hand over, which he likes to do. Tony ends up chopping him with it. That doesn't hurt as much as that long right hand.
Joe Cortez broke them apart momentarily. James Toney tried to keep Prince Charles Williams away with a jab. Charles just pulled him into the ropes. Right hand misses inside for Williams. Would have done some damage if it had landed.
Punch your work out. Punch your work out there. Oh, when you're holding inside, guys. Don't hold inside. Punch your work out. Punch your work out.
See Tony's eyes start to swell when the other guy keeps his head right on Tony's left eye. He's not doing it with punches. He's swelling them up by leaning on his head. Beat to Tony's advantage to turn the other side of his cheek, head to the other. Stay on that side for a while.
But maybe he wouldn't see what he wants to see if he did that.
But he would throw the opponent out, just do something different for a while. Old trick there, lay on the guy's eye.
Solid right hand by Tony. Good left uppercut as well.
Go hold him inside. Come on, get him out, Doc. Get him out of there. Come on, let's go. Get him out. Get him out.
Little breathing space for Tony. He tries a left and a right. Williams misses over the top with the right, lands a left hand. Tony flurrying again just as the round came to a close.
Don't get hit, okay? Just stand open and take it. But don't punch, okay? Don't punch. You come on strong. All right.
Now,
I'm off on rope. Let's go. Seconds up.
I'm not sure what I'm hearing from that corner, from Prince Williams' corner. Don't punch, they're saying to him. Now, either they think he's awfully tired and they want to give him a round to rest to finish strong, or I just don't get it. let's see what they do, and we'll be able to interpret that.
I think that's exactly it. I think they want him to try to take a breather in this round and finish strong in the 11th and 12th. You think so, George?
No doubt about it. At some point or another, he had to take a breather, but at this time, I don't think it's going to help him that much because if Tony continues to win these rounds, pile up points, it's going to cost him. This round is very important. To take initiative, win it clearly, then the judges are going to have some cause to wonder.
Yeah, how many points is he piling up in a tough fight to score, as Harold Letterman has pointed out, in a fight where he's lost a point because of a punch after the bell?
Yeah, but you cannot wait and then hold off because if he wins this round convincingly, Tony, it's in the judges' hand. They're going to give it to him. I don't know where they gave him that advice.
Well, if he stays busy, he's going to win this round convincingly because Williams appears content to listen to his corner's advice and isn't throwing as many punches as was the case before.
Too bad Tony didn't hear what Prince Williams' corner told him.
And that seems to be an acknowledgement of the fact that it's very difficult to sustain this pace under any event, but after you've taken weight off, as much as he's taken, it's even harder.
That's true. Now in Las Vegas, even though we have air conditioning here, the heat is creeping in this arena.
Unbelievable heat. It was 110 degrees outside yesterday, 110 degrees outside again today. It's a real 110. It's not the so-called dry heat that you can't feel. It's oppressive.
It was so hot I went into the sauna to cool off, Jim.
You'd sooner be in a sauna.
No doubt Prince Williams is going to try it all in the next 2 rounds, but hey, the judges are going to be looking at this round more than the next 2 rounds.
Just to confirm, incidentally, we are indoors tonight amid glorious air conditioning, but still, it's hot.
Tony is doing a job. He's landing hard shots to make Prince Williams. Make him throw some hard shots, so he'll be winning the next round.
It's the first genuinely easy round of the fight for the champion, James Toney. Williams has thrown some, but has mostly missed. Toney far busier in this round and landing effectively.
And smart enough to do a lot of faking more so than throwing punches. He'll land 2 shots and then fake like he's doing a lot. The judges may see that as throwing shots.
Williams seemed in the last minute of the round to realize that perhaps he was giving away too much. Went back to throwing more punches, but by that time, the damage may have been done as James Toney appears to take round 10 in what could be a very close fight.
Round by Prince William here to make something happen.
It's Prince Charles.
Prince William, Prince Charles.
I knew we were going to get screwed up with all this Prince stuff.
Right.
He's Williams. All right, Williams comes out busier in the 11th, just as Larry Merchant suggested he would.
What's coming in with that elbow, right? What's coming in with that elbow? Let's go.
Prince William is Prince Charles' son, right?
One or the other.
Let him out of there, Prince.
How does a guy from Ohio get a name like Prince?
Well, he's actually from Columbia, Mississippi.
Oh, well, that explains it.
There you have it. He was born in Columbia, Mississippi, so he's Southern royalty, Larry.
Prince Charles is starting to pick up the pace, but he's not going to get a knockout in that fashion. That 10th round was a very important round. He should have taken charge more so.
Well, he did what his corner told him to do, or so it would appear. And he's using the energy now. Toney is sticking right with him, as you see.
Toney is like some of those good basketball players. They wait for you to bump him, then they shoot. He's waiting for them. He's not, if you don't bump him, he's not going to throw a lot to you.
George, I didn't know you were a basketball aficionado.
I just learned how to bump.
Well, you're from Houston. Everybody from Houston is a basketball aficionado now.
These days, anyway.
Is there anyone who doubts that George's style would play well in the NBA, the way the game is being played right now? Halfway through round 11. Solid round so far for Toney, even though Prince Charles Williams has tried to be active again. There was a good right hand inside by the champion.
Toney's very smart. He's using the power right hand in the last couple rounds.
Finding punching range now. Williams apparently too tired to go in and lean on Toney as he did throughout most of the fight, and James Toney taking maximum advantage.
Which is great because when Williams was coasting, Toney coasted too. Now the coasting is over, Toney decided, I'm giving you something to add to your wasting of energy, which was very smart. He did not try to land a power punch when Williams was coasting the previous time.
Head upper body movement from James Toney. He slips a punch there, ducks another one there, and keeps coming back with brilliant counter punches of his own.
It's amazing to see a young fellow that smart. It's amazing. You just don't see that often. He's young and he's crafty. I don't understand how he's gotten that from.
Watching all those old Ezra Charles fight films.
How could he have known that Prince was hosting the previous round? Amazing. I didn't hear his corner tell him about it.
James Toney beginning to take command in round 11. Solid left-right combinations, carrying the round for the champion.
I want one more round like that.
Great round.
I want one more round like that, and we're going to wait here with our belt.
Last round.
You're the man.
All right, guys, last round, we touch him up. Okay, now back him up.
Touch with one hand, baby. Touch with one hand. Keep your other hand high. Okay? I want it. I got to have it.
Man.
All right, give me 3 minutes like that. I must have it. Do the boss.
Your house.
Give me 3 minutes now. Your shoot hand move. Let's repeat it. Let's repeat history, baby. Come on.
A million short jabs. Bill Miller said about the Prince here that you can't cook with old grease. And right now the old grease is looking a bit like old grease.
More than anything,
Toney is doing the cooking.
He fought the wrong fight for the wrong part of it. This is the time you want to stay close in the latter round. Build up your points early on with nice long jabs. You have the greater reach. He didn't do so.
Well, they were operating under the theory that you could out-hustle James Toney. Maybe you could a couple years ago or 3 years ago before he moved up to this weight where he's so comfortable, but that's awfully tough now.
You're absolutely true. This guy is not only energetic, but he is also crafty. It just doesn't go with his young age.
In the 11th round, Toney threw 90 punches to 59 for Williams. By stepping up his activity level in the second half of the fight, James Toney has seized command.
Now he has Williams following him around right into his right hand. Whenever he wants to deliver it, it's there for him.
And Toney's superior skills as a counterpuncher will play into this situation perfectly.
Both corners did a great job on fixing eyes.
Good point.
I think that Williams was confused. He thought that leaning on Toney would really tire him out. He didn't understand he's not a light heavyweight. He is right there the same weight.
But he didn't have any other choice, I feel, George, because Toney's skills are just too good for him from a distance.
I see it that way right now.
And I think that's entirely right. If he had fought this way from the beginning, he would have gotten taken to the cleaners. Now Williams acting a little bit. But that's okay. James Toney doesn't need the satisfaction of a knockout at this point. He's perfectly willing to surge forward, get a decision, and move toward that November 19 payday with Roy Jones Jr.
I think Toney has proven that he can box his way out of anything.
This was a heck of a test, because he faced a strategic challenge unlike anything else he's faced recently.
Yeah, and he did a lot of it on his own thinking. That's what amazes everybody. Toney is a great fighter. Now,
he adjusted in the ring, didn't he?
And his legs are strong at this point.
Let him out, let him out. Don't hold that head, don't hold that head down. Let's go.
Prince Williams has got nothing to be ashamed of. This guy is a smart fighter.
Oh, what a right hand!
4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We're watching a great fighter guys. I mean, this guy took the other guy's best, his strength, his experience, a bigger man. He stuck in there with him, and then when the time came, he finished him. It's not a great crowd-pleasing fight, but boy, it was a crowd-pleasing finish.
It was everything I would like to see in a boxing match.
James Toney in his career has several knockouts past the 9th round. I don't remember for sure. I think the number is 4 or 5. He knocked out Michael Nunn to win the title in the 11th round. Here he knocks out Prince Charles Williams in the 12th round. You don't see a lot of fighters who can do it, guys. This guy sets you up over a long period of time, maintains his stamina and control, and then finishes when the opportunity is there.
This is a throwback to old fighters who would do all kinds of tricks and then finish you off because of your mistake.
Let's take another look at the knockout, George, and how James was able to set up and land this right hand.
The main thing, he has Williams following him around. Guys follow you around, he's open for a right hand. You never follow a puncher.
It was a tremendous shot. Prince Charles Williams appeared eager to get up toward the end of that count. Referee Joe Cortez appeared quite satisfied to count him out. And keep in mind that 1 week ago, Robert Wangila of Kenya died after a fight here in Las Vegas. You can expect the Nevada State Athletic Commission to remain quite wary for a while about fighters who are hurt in the late rounds. Now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Cortez reaches the count of 10. The official time, 2 minutes, 45 seconds of round number 12. The winner and still IBF super middleweight champion of the world, James Lights Out